Rehabilitated rebels, war heroes, in the 3rd grade, and cattle ready for battle. Let's learn the fun-sized story of the Azores, Part 2. In Part 1, we mentioned that Azoreans like having a say in who rules over them. In my opinion, the episode that illustrates this the most is during the War of Portuguese Succession in the 1500s. Let's start by explaining succession. Monarchs were often believed to be chosen by God. But when God decided not to give a king any male offspring, it was time for the lions to pounce. Elite families, and even foreign countries, could now take their chance to grab the throne. Waiting for this exact moment would allow the winner of the struggle to claim justification and legitimacy in the eyes of the common people and other countries. This exact situation happened when the young Portuguese king and his successor both died in battle in 1580. The Spanish attempted to take over, and the Azores, especially Terceira here, resisted. But that doesn't mean that everybody in these streets was on board. Some were receptive to the thought of a Spanish king, and then a war fleet showed up on the horizon. I want you guys to imagine that you see warships on the horizon, but you have no idea whose ships they are. Imagine the tension as they approach, knowing that some of your neighbors support the other side. It was the Spanish King Philip II's boats. And since they immediately started firing upon the city, it turned the populace pretty anti-Spanish. The island readied itself for defense. And when the Spanish landed, a priest suggested an interesting strategy. If you've ever been to these islands, you'll see cows. Tons and tons of cows. You can even sample some amazing cheese from these cows. The priest suggested loosing hundreds of cows and driving them towards the Spanish position. The Spanish were so caught by surprise that many died and many retreated, and the locals had protected their island. A year later, though, the Spanish ultimately conquered the Azores. The island stayed Spanish for another 60 years until the Portuguese regained control during another war, the War of Portuguese Restoration. Now let's take a break from history for a second so we can sample some delicious Azorean cuisine. Fast forward to the 20th century, and Portugal is a global colonial empire doing colonist things. While the Portuguese colonial past was glorified by the Estado Novo, the 20th century Portuguese dictatorship, when it was overthrown in 1974, there seems to be a more nuanced view of the past. In 2 separate places on Terceira, I've seen memorials to Gungunhana, a king of Mozambique in the 1800s, then a Portuguese colony. He rebelled against Portuguese rule, but failed. He was captured and was imprisoned at this fort here with his wives. This memorial ties the injustice of his imprisonment to the thousands of Portuguese imprisoned by the dictatorial regime in the 20th century. And Tercera has given us some famous Americans. There's Nuno Betancourt, who sang More Than Words, inspiring millions of 90s kids to cuddle up while slow dancing with their crush. But there's also Peter or Pedro Francisco, born here in Porto Judeu. He showed up one day in the 1700s, a young boy on the docks of Virginia, presumed kidnapped. At some point, people realized that he was speaking Portuguese, and they found him a home. Pedro grew to be a giant, 6'8" and 270 pounds. Later, he fought in the Revolutionary War, single-handedly attacking and stealing horses from a British cavalry general. Even better were his activities after the war. He went back to school, joining an elementary classroom. The school kids loved this 1700s giant Billy Madison because during breaks he would entertain them with war stories. Before you go, please hit that like and subscribe. It's free and will really help me with my goal of growing my channel. If you want to know more about me and what I'm doing when I'm not nose deep in historical research, you can follow me on Instagram @FunSizeHistory. Now let's say bye to the Azores.